Hi, Neil Williams here, president of TurnkeyParlor.com, and now that we've cleaned and sanitized and rinsed and air dried all the parts to the machine, we're going to go ahead and put the parts to rebuild the machine. We're going to put it all back together. So I'm going to start. This is what's called the beater. Okay, this essentially goes into each cylinder, and this is what cranks and freezes the product against the inside of the cylinder. Okay, right here, this is called a ripple seal ring. This has to go onto the back. If you don't put this on the back, it's going to leak yogurt out through the machine, and it's going to be a problem, and you're going to call me thinking there's a problem with the machine, when in reality you probably just forgot to put this guy in. It's happened a lot of times, so just keep in mind when you're training your employees that you make sure that they get this ripple seal ring in there. It's easy to forget. Okay, so you put a little bit of lube. Okay, we're going to go ahead and do this live. We're working here without a net. Okay, you basically get a thin layer. You don't have to put very much. Okay, on the outside of each ripple seal ring. Okay, make sure obviously my hands are clean. Make sure that your hands are clean when you're doing this. Everything's already sanitized. Okay, so when we put it into the machine, okay, that's not good. If it's doing that, it's not all the way in. That's not going to work. So you want to make sure that it engages into the back there. Okay, now it's good. So it goes all the way in and it kind of pushes back because of that ripple seal ring. So you push in. Okay, as long as it's doing that, you're in good shape. Okay. All right. I'm going to do this other one. Bring it over here. Okay. Line it up. That's not good. We kind of turn it a little just to make sure it's in. Now it's in. Okay. Okay, so we just put the beaters into the machine. Now we're going to go ahead and get the discharge door body and the draw valves and the center draw valve, and we're going to put the O-rings on it and get that going. Okay, so we're going to go ahead and put these O-rings. This is the draw valve, it's called. Okay, and this is what you really want to make sure once you get these guys on, is that it's really well lubricated, because these are the guys that are going to be going up and down you know, all day pretty much, so they need to be well lubricated or else they cause strain on the machine. So part of the trick is, you know, getting those on is pretty easy. Getting them off, you got to do a pinch and roll. Okay, so pinch and roll. Okay. Alright, get this third one on there. Okay, and then this one's the center draw valve. Okay, and the way that you can tell the difference with the center draw valve is it's got that extra groove there, right? So it's also where this is going to go. The O-ring is, you know, is different. There's one O-ring that goes on the top. We'll put that one on first. Okay, and then this one goes here. It's a little bit more of a challenge to get on, but not that hard. So we'll do pinch and roll. Okay, and then you got to center it so that that goes onto the center groove there. Okay, all right, and then basically we're going to get some lube on there and make sure that we have plenty of lube on each one of these guys. Okay, again, these are the draw valves. These are going to go into the discharge door body. Alright, pick it up here. And basically you just want to center that. This is the center valve, obviously, because it's got that thing there. So that's going to go in the center. And you want to center this because that's where this little guy is going to go into in a second. Okay, so we'll push that in. Be careful when you're pushing it in. This likes to get caught, so just be careful. Push it in a little if you need to. Okay, and then don't go too far down because it's a little bit of a pain to pull it back up. So go about there. All right, get the other ones in. Okay, again centering it there, and then this guy, same thing. Okay, all right, so now we're going to get the discharge handles in there. Okay, Alright. This guy. Push it down a little bit. Okay, and then we're going to line up the discharge. This is the pivot pin. Okay, this is what's going to lock all these guys in. So I'll wipe my hands a little bit because they've got lube on them. Okay, this part's a little bit of a challenge, you know, to line up sometimes. Basically, you just kind of go through and you line up the holes. Okay, push it up a little bit to line up. Okay, this one goes, and you get that one lined up. Okay, you get the last one lined up. And again, it can be a little bit of a challenge, but basically you just want to get the holes lined up. Some days are easier than others. Whoop. Okay. Alright, and then you get this little guy to finish up. Alright, so now the discharge, all the distribution handles are on there. We're going to go ahead and bring it over. Okay. Now, this is a common mistake. Okay, I haven't put in the O-rings. If you put this guy in without those O-rings, it'll leak out the front. Okay, so you want to get a thin, very thin layer of lubricant. These O-rings don't have to have very much at all. Okay, very thin layer. And then if you can see, this is a round side and this is a flat side. So flat side in. Okay. Same thing. I already have lubricant on my fingers, so you really don't need very much for these guys. Flat side in. Alright. Real simple. Just make sure it doesn't fall out as you're moving it over. And then you want to put it evenly. Okay? Very simple. And now we're going to go get the screws. Alright, we'll go get the hand screws. Right here. Okay, we got the 4 hand screws. And it's kind of like tightening a tire. Okay? Because you want to tighten it evenly so that one side doesn't get too tightened and it presses against the wall unevenly. Okay? And then you don't want to over tighten these. I mean, you know, a good manual tightening, you want to get it kind of tight, but you don't want to go too crazy because if somebody's weaker than you are that's taking it apart, it's going to be really hard for them to do it. So, you know, you do want to make sure that there's enough pressure on the wall that it's not going to leak yogurt. Okay? But you also want to make sure that it can be loosened. Alright? So we've got that on. Okay? Then we're going to screw in the handles. This is simple. Okay? Okay, and then we're going to put the air tubes into the machine. Okay, these are the air tubes, also known as carburetor, but air tubes. And if you look over here, they're basically, you pour mix into the hopper, and the hopper feeds through the little hole. The mix feeds through the little hole into the cylinder. Okay, so the product starts here, feeds through into that cylinder where the beater is, and then that's where it's made. Okay, so we put the parts together. Oh, I forgot star caps. Okay, these star caps, this is what gives the product that form, and you kind of just push them on the back. You know, they just clamp on, you know, basically just like that. Just make sure that they're solid. Okay, and they're on there, and that's basically what gives it the swirl form.